Alrighty, hit the done button there, right? I thought I hit the done button. Boom, there we go. Alrighty, peaceful greetings to you all. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Brother Hasan Ghazio Bay here in Morocco in Northwestern Mexico. How are you? Welcome, alrighty, to another installment pertaining to our 7-day tropical medical astro weather report. I know I didn't go over the transits that were for Monday, right? I know on the East Coast it is technically Tuesday, and on the West Coast it's still Monday, right? However, I'll do a brief review of what happened on Monday. We had Luna ingress Taurus, and we had Mercury ingress Gemini. Alrighty. So we take it on to our calendar, right? And check it out right there. Let's see, there we go. Okay. So I will briefly review the 3rd and the 4th, all right? But let's just let you guys know what's taking place, all right? Let ye all know what's taking place for the 3rd and the 4th. Well, the 3rd, as far as the transits are concerned, they all happen prior to sunrise, right? 1:55 anti-meridian approximately, 3:36 anti-meridian approximately, and 5:05 anti-meridian approximately, right? So Luna ingressed its exaltation sign Taurus, as you can see, as I said, 55 minutes after 0100 hours. Mercury had ingressed the sign, one of the signs that it is dominant in, that it is dispositor for, or quote unquote rules, right? Mercury's in Gemini, and that took place about 36 minutes after 0300 hours. And Luna and Pluto were square, right? The lunar Plutonian quartile was 5 minutes after 0500 hours. And we'll look into that shortly. For the 4th, what's a brewing? What's a cooking, right? We're seeing 12 minutes after 0200 hours, approximately. We see, let me hit OK here. Alrighty. We have a Mercury Plutonian trine taking place. Find that interesting. Then Mercury's conjunct Jupiter, 23 minutes after 0600 hours. Then we have the lunar Saturnian sextile taking place 46 minutes after 0900 hours. There is a solar Venusian conjunction. I had mentioned that briefly on Saturday, right? That's coming up. All right, the solar Venusian conjunction, right? Sun and Venus are conjuncted approximately 33 minutes after 1100 hours. And last but not least, there is a lunar Uranian conjunction that is taking place, right? Lunar Uranian conjunction that's taking place there. So amazing to see, these transits that are taking place. Remember, if you like to see what's actually, because these are collective, these are general, right? And they can affect you in a way where you can observe events pertaining to these transits. You can either observe them from afar. Maybe there could be something directly that occurs, that you directly experience. However, as I always suggest, schedule the Mirror AstroLiteracy session with Brother Hasan Ghazio Bay. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. It is the bestest self-reflection session in the galaxy. All right. So I would like for you to actually see how, these transits are taking place within your own, areas in life that are termed houses in astrology. All right. Let me make sure I monitor here. I know you guys like, hold on. It's, you're going live at about 1:30 Eastern. No, it's 10:30 Pacific. So, I figured I'd go, how can you be in two places at once or two times at once, right? I guess this is how you do it, right? I mean, even though you got like places like Japan that's like 13 hours ahead, or Sydney, Australia, there's like 14 hours ahead. So they've been having Tuesday hours ago, right? Like seriously, like they're literally almost on their way to night time. Seriously, when it comes to like Sydney and Tokyo. Anyway, um, let's move forward, right? Let me bring this up and let's just go over these brief transits here. Stop the screen share there. All right, and let me, okay. And let's go and screen share here. Oh, I thought I had hit the button. There we go. Hit the button there. All right. Just want to make sure. Let me hit the share right there. And I'm pretty sure there are, let me see if anyone was looking, right? Make sure I share that out. There. Okay. So here we go. I'm gonna make this quick and easy, straight to the point. So as I told you guys, and I trust everyone was safe. There was no accident to your wheeled, apparatus, right? No accidents with the land conveyance, right? The automobile, right? Because we know that 13 degrees is where the sun had rose on the third. And according to Eastern, it was about 46 minutes after 0500 hours. Sunset was 24 minutes after 2000 hours. However, as we can see, the sun rose on the third at around 13 degrees. Gemini, 18 minutes. All righty. And we already know if we go and just briefly check our encyclopedia of astrology, we see we're here, Gemini, about the top left mid. And we go down here to about 13 degrees. We see degree pertaining to accidents, to wheeled. When I say in vehicles, I'm saying it non-statutorily speaking. I'm not speaking in terms of the Motor Vehicle Act of any state, right? Any state of corporation. And it's also it's the degree pertaining to imitation and acting, right? So I'm not sure if anything was brought up about like, oh, this particular actor got into a wheeled accident, or maybe you got some news about someone who was in a wheeled accident, right? Or an accident with an automobile. Maybe you heard some news today, right? There's a possibility, that could have manifested, right? So if I just very briefly looked at what took place prior to sunrise, right? I'll do this briefly and quickly and just kind of speak to some things. And I'll just ask you guys questions. And what I would like for you to do is just put it in the chat. Let me know what your experience was, right? With these particular ingresses and transits. All righty. So at approximately 0100 hours, 55 minutes and 4 seconds, we see Luna ingress its exaltation sign, Taurus. All righty. Very interestingly, because I can see, even though this is a tropical regiomontanous house system, the moon is actually in the third whole sign house. So even though it's in the second tropical regiomontanous house, it is in its joy according to whole sign housing. All righty, because we see Pisces is on the rise. The second whole sign house would be Aries, and the third whole sign house would be Taurus. But we see that the Aries Libra axis is completely intercepted within the first and seventh houses as far as the tropical regiomontanous chart is concerned. However, with looking at this here, what I'm just, what my question would be is, what type of unveiling secrets to something valuable were you, it just makes me think that this could have been a day of really learning things about finance in some kind of way. Maybe you, because even with the reason why I'm saying that too, because, Gemini's early childhood development, and, 12 can, that relates to Pisces, right? Venus would then be kind of having this almost like exalted in this Piscean degree, but it's in Gemini, of course, and it's in the third house, right? The regiomontanous third, but the whole sign fourth. And what I'm saying here, I'm just thinking, was there like some treasure that you have unveiled to yourself? Maybe you did some type of study early on something. Maybe you are studying finances in some type of way. And you were able to actually hone in on that and really be able to allow yourself to have an open mind to a fresh concept. So just wondering, what was y'all experience pertaining to finance and your everyday routine, your daily routine? Alrighty. Just really curious about that. Maybe you enjoyed a small walk, and on that walk, you had a moment of clarity. Alrighty. Maybe that's some energy that led up to this ingress at 100 hours, 55 minutes, and 4 seconds, right? Which is 1:55:04 anti-meridian Eastern. Or maybe that was still some energy that even as this, separated from being exact, you were still experiencing some things. So just want to know. You can put that in the chat if you like. All right. So now we had Mercury ingress Gemini, right? So Luna was in his exaltation sign. Mercury's, quote unquote domicile, non-statutorily speaking, of course. All right. Mercury at the helm of the ship within the first house, that is, right? Mercury 0 degrees, Gemini 0 minutes in the first house in this tropical regiomontanous chart. But however, it's in the second whole sign house, right? So just seeing those two energies, right? Having the regiomontanous chart in my mind be like a transparency over the whole sign house, whole sign houses chart. So with me seeing this, it's really letting me know that you could have like spoke with a sibling today, right? You could have taken a walk in the neighborhood. Maybe you went to the park. Maybe you, in your brief walk with your neighborhood, or maybe you walked or talked, or you walked and talked with a sibling, your sister or your brother. What's interesting is Mercury is ruling the regiomontanous second and third. So there was a very valuable conversation that took place. There was a means to actually learn about some sudden changes and further expound upon some early developmental, information. Really find the values in some things, bring some things to heart, and see, have a moment of some fortunate reflection, so to speak. Also, and with that being said, to be able to not only rule over the second and third house, this Mercury is ruling over the sixth. Also, we see that we have Virgo, right, on the sixth house, as we see again the Arian Libran axis, right? Libra Aries. Remember I showed you guys that's libraries, libraries. Any Hoosers. With that being said, here we actually see that we also allowed ourselves, when it comes to our daily routine, we've are fulfilling our purpose. Actually, I see with the vertex there, we're really fulfilling our purpose and getting over the fascination and denial of some particular topic or some particular portion in our early childhood development. Maybe there was a conversation of reminiscing in the past. I know I had a conversation today similarly like that, and I was able to exercise with the sibling today. So that's kind of how I looked at those things as well. However, what I could also say is this is where one could actually check into their own self values and how they're valuing themselves in their daily routine. Being able to really pay attention to their thinking process and really take a moment to refine their communication skills. Wonder, is that something you experienced today? Last but not least, what also took place today as just a review of the transits that have already transpired. We see that we also had a Luna Plutonian quartile that has taken place. All right, give me one moment. Uno momento. Plug that thing back in so that I can be able to ticky type. All right. Let's see. Are we doing it yet? Gotta love this tablet, right? There we go. There's the 90. And hitting that should be about 0500 hours 4 minutes and 32 seconds to be exact, for the 3rd June, 2024. And we see Luna here at 1 degree, Taurus, 53 minutes. Pluto is at 1 degree, Aquarius, 53 minutes, retrograde. Look at that. That's interesting, 153, because if you remember earlier, the Luna ingressed in the 1 o'clock hour, right? Well, Luna, ingressed, so to speak, in Taurus is 55 minutes after 1. Mercury ingressed Gemini just 36 minutes after 3, right? You see that 1 and that 3. And then this transit is happening at 4 minutes, 32 seconds after 5. 135, that's a 9. And then where are they at? 153. And if those, remember in the anthropomorphic tale of the I am identity, telling I gotta remember what Peter means in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. You guys look it up. You guys have access to the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. Look up Peter. What part of the consciousness is that? But the I am identity term, Jesus, told the part of the consciousness called Peter to cast their net on the right side. And you really get into the metaphysics pertaining to these holy books. You get to actually see some true masonry, the true masonry, and that's self-edification and building oneself. It's not about some clubism, grouping at a lodge somewhere. That's not what this is about at all. Respectfully saying. So with that being said, cashing that on the right hand, cashing that on the right side, and with that came 153 fish that Peter caught, and that whole 153 is the whole it's really it's a bit of an alluding to the age of Pisces. Also, it's a bit of alluding to the number 9, right, which is which also corresponds with the letter I, which is the highest law ever. And when ones have the proper mindset, all right, proper mindset, proper heart, expressing that 153 or 144 or however 9 is fashioned and expressed, the I self law and master for the sons, or the I self law am master for the mothers. And I'm speaking initially. I'm not saying that sons can't come to I self law am master, which is not a website. It is a principle, all right, pertaining to proper self-edification. All right. When that's comprehended, what we are able to do is be the law. That's it. That's all. So I just find it interesting that Luna's at 153 and Pluto's at 153 retrograde. Luna, of course, in Taurus, Pluto's in Aquarius. They're in the 12th and 9th houses, 4 houses apart as far as this Regiomontanus, tropical Regiomontanus house system is concerned. And we see that this axis, this Taurus Scorpio axis, is intercepted within the 12th and 6th houses. However, when looking to Aries and Mars ruling, meant to say Mars and Venus and Mars ruling over Luna, while we see Saturn ruling over Pluto. It's very interesting to really see that what we have here is a means to actually actively share our ideals. And in actively sharing our ideals, there are some unveilings of some things that take place. And when those ideals are shared, we are able to allow ourselves to take that which we've learned, have a moment to meditate via isolation, and then be able to make some really awesome sudden changes from our higher learning, right? And the reason why I'm giving you guys that is because just looking at the fact that the 9th and 12th houses are forth from each other, this is how we actually secure being able to relate to others, by really making sure we're taking our higher learning seriously, so that we can be able to have a death and rebirth in terms of taking that which we know, maybe being able to add unto it, so to speak, add to it, if that's the way you want to hear it. What it does is it retires us or relieves us from the caterpillar state and allows us to be within the chrysalis of study so that we can be the spiritually evolved butterfly that is necessary. So that's why I gave the testimony the way I did as far as Luna square Pluto, because we're able to get over this obstacle within ourselves as far as our self-edification and really be able to be very active in our ideals and how we're actually communicating the things that are hidden by taking what we are immediately seeing either in a conversation or a group activity, take what we learn and then go into our own private studies, isolate ourselves so that we can be able to cocoon our consciousness in a way that we then are allowing it to metamorph, so to speak. All right. With that being said, let's just move on to the fourth now, right? Let's see what we got here. Brother Tyro says, peace and love, everyone. Peace and greetings to you, Brother Tyro. So we have the sun and the ascendant conjunction, termed sunrise for the fourth. All righty. So that's going to take place. Oh, I forgot that. We got to hit it one more time, right? Okay, so that's going to take place at 0500 hours, 45 minutes, and 34 seconds at 14 degrees. All righty, Gemini, 16 minutes. Let's take a looky, Astro Cookie. What is 14 degrees? Degree of dumbness from impaired speech organs. I can't make it up. Degree of dumbness from impaired speech organ. Very interesting. I wonder if anybody is dealing with, maybe, I don't know, maybe you had to go into that spy center they call a hospital, and maybe you had, I don't know, a tonsillectomy, or maybe you're experiencing laryngitis, right? But, back in, over 100 years ago, dumbness wasn't, you didn't know some things. Dumbness was unable to talk, all righty? That's what they called it then. So that's very interesting. So maybe you'll find yourself wanting to convey something or express something, and maybe it falls on deaf ears. Maybe you find that maybe you can better express what it is that you want to say another time. All right. And maybe that's a possibility of it all. However, I find that very interesting too, that's what it is, because now we have to consider that Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus and the Sun are all in Gemini. There's a Geminian stellium that's taking place, right? We got Mercury very neutral. However, there with both the benefics, right? Both the benefics, Jupiter and Venus, the greater benefic and the lesser benefic, and then the Sun's there too. They're all chilling in the same sign, so to speak, as far as Gemini is concerned. So I think that type of counsel is awesome, even though what's even greater is the fact that Venus is Cazimi. Remember, Cazimi is when a planet is 0 degrees 0 minutes to 0 degrees 17 minutes as far as its aspect to the sun. So Venus is in council with the king, quote unquote, right? While we can see getting almost there. Well, actually, are they? Yeah, they're under the beams. Technically, Mercury and Jupiter will be under the beams of the sun. It'd be hard to technically see them or whatever, but yeah, I'm just saying, just with that being said, I think that what we can actually do here is really possibly comprehend some things that before we couldn't grasp the concept of. And now, due to these particular placements and due to this particular sunrise, maybe this is the day where a light bulb actually goes off. I'm like, oh, finally, I get it. All righty, so that's what I see there. Prior to sunrise, we have Mercury and Pluto are trine, right? So the Mercury-Plutonian trine is happening. All right, and that is, of course, prior to sunrise at about 0200 hours and 12 minutes. Let's actually see what we got here. 0200 hours, 11 minutes, 54 seconds. We see Mercury at 1 degree, Alrighty. Gemini, 52 minutes. Pluto, because it is retrograde. I know it was at 1 degree, 53 minutes in Aquarius, but now it's at 1 degree Aquarius, 52 minutes retrograde. In the 11th house, there's Pluto, and Mercury is actually in the second house. Alrighty. If we actually look here, let's see what's in the second house with Mercury. It looks like it's Luna and Uranus. Luna and Uranus are in there with Mercury. I think Jupiter's there also. So Luna, Uranus, and Jupiter are all in the second house with Mercury. However, we can see also it's the what's interesting. Whole sign fourth house, though, right? Is there also, that's pretty active also. So look into the it's the second. So looking to the ideal pertaining to the second and the fourth house, this is where we're able to comprehend some things about our possessions and our property. However, here we're able to actually really, for those of you that have, I guess, timeshares or you're doing group activities, right? Maybe you're taking some type of, maybe you're thinking about traveling somewhere. And with that being said, you're noticing that you're willing to make some sudden changes. Maybe you're even actually, and the reason why I said a timeshare is I'm thinking about this home away from home energy that is real prominent in my thinking right now. And here's where I think the group can actually really transform their experience and how they're sharing it with others. And also, I think what's happening too, what's being discussed in this particular transit, this may be something that when the group is actually discussing how to make some changes in their life, they're also wanting to include their children. So people are also thinking about each other's children as they're also expressing some values pertaining to travel, even if it's just a short distance. And I'm thinking a short distance would be like 4 hours away. Maybe you want to go to the beach and there's this, type of, lakeside cabin or something that you can, enjoy or whatever. And everyone's thinking of pooling their finances to be able to have this experience, not just for themselves, but also for their little ones also. All right. So I see that there. This is just the perfect time to actually harmonize with that, have that group meeting, and be able to thoroughly express in a secure fashion, right? And be secure in it and how you're going to go about securing that particular structure for you and your loved ones to enjoy, even if it's multiple cabins in the example that I'm setting. But it's other ways that can manifest. Guys, let me know in the chat things you experience. All right. Next, we are having a Mercurial Jupiterian conjunction. Very interesting because Mercury and Jupiter, the signs that they rule are 180 to each other, right? They're reflections of one another. So it's very interesting that they're conjunct. All righty. And this happens, I'll say this happens at least once a year, if not a few times a year, actually, depending on if there was like a retrograde happening at certain times. But yeah, so just to kind of see this taking place is pretty interesting. Let's put our 0 there and let's go next, right? Next. All righty, it's taking place about 23 minutes after 0600 hours. To be exact, it is 0600 hours, 23 minutes, and 2 seconds. And the the Mercurial Jupiterian conjunction at 2 degrees Gemini, 13 minutes in the 12th house, right? This is right after sunrise, of course. All right. So it's very interesting. I know since they're so close to being under the beams, because under the beams is about anywhere from 8 degrees to 17 degrees away from the sun. And they are roughly 12 degrees away from the sun. So I know that they can't necessarily be seen, but a part of me was like, I wonder if I could get a sneak peek if I look to the east during sunrise, if I could get a peek. Because it would look like probably a really huge star Jupiter and Mercury conjunct. If they are, you know, particularly parallel and right in front of each other like that, they could actually be, you know, conjunct, but one could be higher than the other depending on the apparent uh declination, I'll just say for right now, for lack of better terms, right? However, uh, Jupiter actually has some accidental dignity in the 12th, while Mercury has actual dignity in Gemini. Jupiter feels exile, it is said, right? In Gemini, because it's domicile in the sign 184, which is Sagittarius. All right, and we know Sag to be hearer, right? That's Sag, right? So Jupiter's home in Sag and Pisces, while Mercury is home in Gemini and Virgo. However, with this conjunction here at 2 degrees, this is where I will see that hands, valuing the hands and feet are paramount. And it's interesting because with Jupiter in the 12th, I think it has accidental dignity in the 12th. So here is where probably people are it's very interesting because I know it's a Tuesday, but here's where people are probably, a lot of people are getting their manicures and pedicures. That's one way of showing how hands and feet working together, right? You know, if you, the arrangement of that energy. However, here also people may find themselves doing a lot of activities that involve both the hands and the feet. Like maybe you're doing basketball, maybe you're swimming, maybe some type of sport that really requires, you know, there to be a harmony, so to speak. Even though trying is more of a harmony, however, there's a working together, a working with, right? You know, maybe maybe you'll find yourself trying to grab something with your feet as if your feet were hands, right? Maybe that'll happen. Maybe you'll find yourself, you know, grabbing the foot of someone else to maybe help them out, or maybe you're playing around with your little one, and you know, is, you know, uh, they go to run away, but you're holding on to their foot type of energy. That's just giving you examples of where the hand and feet are together. Mercury rules the hands, Jupiter rules the feet. However, Mercury also rules the intestines, and Jupiter rules the hips. So here also, this is where I really see, um, you know, that this is where people may also allow themselves to, you know, care for their health in a way. Maybe you're detoxing, maybe you're doing some kind of fasting so that you can do some bit of a process of elimination, of relieving yourself of excess fecal matter within the intestinal, you know, along the intestinal walls. There's a possibility of that, so you can create more room within the body as far as the intestines are concerned, right? So that's how I'm looking at it. Gemini is a portion pertaining to the lungs. So Mercury also rules the lungs also. So if we think about the lungs, arms, hands, shoulders, intestines, and feet, right? Because Mercury rules the lungs, arms, hands, shoulders, and intestines. And Jupiter actually rules the hips, thighs, and the feet. All right, this is where we can actually find a means to possibly also allow ourselves to get a chiropractic adjustment. Maybe you're having a pain in some of these areas that I actually just said that these two planets rule, and maybe a chiropractic adjustment, right? Again, that would be hands to feet. Maybe an ankle reset is needed, right? So the hands of the chiropractor, right? Will be at your feet and your ankles, right, so to speak. Maybe you're finding yourself also, and this is the last thing I'll actually touch on. Maybe this is where you're finding yourself giving or getting a foot massage, even if it's not just, you know, just the manicure and pedicure. This may actually deal with the massage energy also. All right. So that's what I actually see there. It's not a doom and gloom conjunction pertaining to Mercury and Jupiter. All right. Next, we have a Luna Saturnian sextile. We have the lunar Saturnian sextile. Tracy Pickens, Peter equals rock, faith. That's not bad, Tracy. I wonder if Tracy, do you have access to the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary? Because if you check there too, is an expansion on the consciousness also. However, yes, immediately if we were to check like the Holman's or any just regular Bible dictionary, it will say those things. However, if you look into a metaphysical Bible dictionary, Jesus, Bruce Lee Christ, maybe I'll do that. Maybe before I get off of here, and I remember, I'll look up. I will definitely look up Peter in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary by Charles Fillmore, because you guys know, I like to make sure we're definitely clear, right, on how we are seeing, right, those things there. This is great. I appreciate your participation in the chat, because that is what a lot of people do get when going into a Bible dictionary. However, to expand that knowledge and add to your wisdom, going into the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary will give you a fullness of pertaining to the word, and then you're like, okay, this is internal. Okay, so when the mind is at this type of consciousness, then that type of consciousness has been anthropomorphically termed Peter, right? And I'll show that in a bit, provided I actually remember that. Maybe I'll look back in the chat. All righty, I trust the universe grants me the memory to do so in that moment, because I think that's really good and a good point to bring out, since I did bring it up, right? And it's interesting too, because Peter is also associated with Jupiter in the circuit. Jupiter. So and it rules Pisces, right? The Piscean age. You know what I mean? Because I think that's when you are looking at the Helios Bibliothèque, termed the Holy Bible. I think it kind of goes through like the Taurus age, right? It goes from the Taurus age, the age of Taurus, the age of Aries, and the age of Pisces. I think those, and that's what, 2160 years each. So we're looking at 8 carrying my 1, that would be 63, 64, 6480, 6480 years as far as astrology is concerned, when one can see with those kind of eyes, when it comes to the Helios Bibliothèque or the Biblios Heliothèque, right? Depending on how you've been introduced to it. But it is contemporarily known as the Holy Bible. It is one of many astrology books, which all the alleged holy books are. All the holy books are the law books, all the law books are the holy books, right? However, I want people to believe nothing I say, right? But challenge it by researching it, so that when you see that which I am sharing for yourselves, it becomes your own knowledge, right? Okay. Indeed. You said, yes, I'm reading it now. Indeed, right? So yeah, if that's the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary of Charles Fillmore, yes. And I would like to know, what does it say? Because when you read the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, it will give you the immediate meaning. It will say rock and things of that nature. But under each immediate definition that it gives, it says metaphysic or metaphysical. And the metaphysical definition under Peter, it will definitely give you some expansion there also. And we'll go over it. I'm glad you're interacting. So we'll go over that and speak on that even further, right? All right, so let's look at this lunar Saturnian sextile, all right? Let's look at that next. This is happening about 46 minutes after 0900 hours, to be exact, 0900 hours, 45 minutes, and 39 seconds. Alrighty, we see Luna is here at 18 degrees Taurus, 54 minutes in the 10th house. Yep, in the 10th house. That is correctamundo. And we have Saturn here in Pisces at 18 degrees, 54 minutes in the 8th. They're 3 houses apart. So it's the underlying energy of communication, short distance travel, walking, early childhood development, the neighborhood, siblings. And here, which this would be called a sinister sextile, not because sinister means evil. Sinister just means to the left, right? Because the faster moving planet aspects the slower moving planet, right? So that would be I'm sorry, this would be a Dexter. Dexter is going to the right. It's going because Moon's to the left, and then Saturn's to the right of that. So this would be a Dexter sextile. I corrected myself, so forgive me. Alrighty, for allow me to make correction. However, 18 degrees is a Virgo wind degree, so that's very interesting and giving me the energy pertaining to health and daily routine, right? So when it comes to health and one's daily routine, right? What we can actually see here is we can really allow, this is very interesting too. When it comes to our spiritual status, right? This is where we can be able to thoroughly isolate ourselves from the opinion of our peers. 10th house is usually how your peers see you, your public status, right? Or how you're seen in the public. But this is what I say, like how your peers may see you, right? We know that Pisces deals with not only spirituality, but being, hidden or isolated, so to speak, also is where you can have closure. So being able to discipline oneself in their daily exercise, so to speak, pertaining to their spiritual shared account energies, right? Because 8th house is not just, oh, well, it's tied to Scorpio and Mars and Pluto, so it's just death and rebirth. No, it's also joint account energy. So here with the joint account energy, what you're allowing yourself to do is be able to make a connection with a loved one or loved ones that are on the same page with you, absent of how, maybe your peers outside of that, that spiritual gym that you exercise your spirit in. Outside of that, and this is where you're able to be thoroughly active in making the sudden changes necessary to further expand your mind and your thinking, alrighty? Because also within that 10th house with the moon is Mars, Uranus, Jupiter, and Mercury, all right? Because if we see it ends at 2 degrees Gemini, and the 11th house cuts at 4 degrees. So that means Mercury, Jupiter, Uranus, Luna, and Mars are really actually all in the 10th house. So you can activate your subconscious mind in ways of making the sudden changes by what information has been poured out, especially when this is in an opportunity to thoroughly discipline the shared spiritual account that you have. And that shared spiritual account can be with any of your loved ones or your immediate spiritual community, and you guys have a general way of exercising these concepts, all right? So with that being said, after that, we have it gets real. It's all the way Cazini at this point. We have a solar Venusian Cazini, being exact, 0 degrees, 0 minutes as far as how far apart they are. All right. However, it's going to take place possibly at 14 degrees, right? As we see, right? Make sure I put the conjunction there. So the solar Venusian conjunction, approximately 33 minutes after 1100 hours. 1100 hours, 33 minutes, 11 seconds. Look at that palindrome, 113311. That's an awesome little palindrome if I've ever seen one, right? It's like you split it between the threes. It's mirroring each other. Looky, Astro Cookie. All right. So it's a perfect 10, right? Right. 1, 1, 1, 1 is 4. 3 and 3 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. So it's ultimately a 1. Right. It's interesting. Right. Look at that 1 energy. So we have the solar Venusian conjunction taking place at 14 degrees, 13 minutes. That is a Venusian type of energy, 14 degrees, because it is a Taurus degree also, just like 2 degrees is a Taurus degree. However, with this taking place here, this is where we can really allow the values of our peer system to really, be seen. It's almost like opening the treasures in your heart based on actually um, seeing how you esteem yourself. Esteem, right? Like self-esteem is self-estimation. So here's where you can esteem oneself by actually seeing what ways in which your peer group actually values you. And this is where you can also be able to have probably some type of show and tell with children. Maybe you're a part of some type of camp or some type of program for children, and maybe this is a particular kind of like show and tell kind of energy, because that's, if we look at the valuable being Venus, the sun being the spotlight, the telling of it, right? Show and tell, right? Because Gemini's communication. And 11th house deals with not just sharing and the group, but 11th house is opposite or reflecting the fifth. Fifth is your children. 11th house is other people's children. So here's where there's this energy of, maybe there's some type of art expose or whatever. Maybe there's a trip, right? In which you're taking the children to the museum. All right. That's the kind of energy that's there. Very interestingly, Luna is, hold on. Oh, it's actually in the 10th house. Look, I stand corrected, guys. Look at that. I was like, hold on. How is Luna ruling over something in Gemini? So I stand corrected. It's in the 10th house. So even with that being said, I can actually say, because let's just be honest, that the 10th is 12th to the 11th. So maybe it's also something, it's a surprise for the children. Maybe this is something that you are actually sharing not only with your children or someone else. So this could also be someone's solar return, maybe a party. And at this particular party, right, there is something that may take place. I don't know, maybe somebody had booked a favorite artist, that the children enjoy. Maybe you have, maybe the children wanted to see Spider-Man. So you had hired someone who can, be very agile and flip and do the things like Spider-Man. They're happy to see that. Or maybe maybe it's some younger children and they enjoy Gracie's Corner, and someone actually dresses up like the cartoon character Gracie from Gracie's Corner or something. So that's very interesting to see while I make the correction in real time. But this is in the 10th house here. And what's very interesting to see that also, with Venus actually ruling over this, I still give other people's children, because Uranus rules naturally over Aquarius and the 11th house. So I still give that, but I still think some kind of surprise, something hidden, something that's going to be shared, really being able to expand upon the values. I think this is something that's going to be talked about for years. Like the children will never forget this. They're going to be talking about this forever. And this is where you'll be able to, have the significance of it being like a show and tell energy. It's going to be a lot of people taking video and pictures. Everyone's going to want to take a picture with, this particular character, or maybe it's some type of, music artist. Maybe this, child is a little older and their mother and father or whomever, is their loved one, was able to contribute to their solar return celebration by having a particular artist perform there also. So that's the kind of energy that I see there. However, collectively, generally speaking, this is where we can really set our hearts on actually doing our best to maybe cook a meal that we like. Maybe there's a certain particular food that you enjoy, because Venus is fine foods, right? And it being in the 10th house, maybe this is where you want to try a recipe that your mother used to make, and now you're trying your hand at it, and you really have set your heart on it. It's like, oh, I have a taste for this. So that's an energy that is also very possible. Maybe that's what you're doing also for your child and other people's children too. Maybe you are making sure that there's a certain particular food that they enjoy that's available also. All right. Let me know if that's the kind of experience that y'all are having. All right. Last but not least, we see Luna. All right. Luna and Uranus All righty. They have a conjunction also. So we had three conjunctions: Mercury and Jupiter, Sun and Venus, and now Luna and Uranus are making their conjunction next. This is the last transit. Happened about 4 minutes after 1900 hours, or 1900 hours, 3 minutes and 43 seconds to be exact. All righty, that is 7:03:43 post meridian Eastern. All righty, and we see Luna and Uranus. All righty, let me make sure. 24 degrees, that's 19. So they're in the seventh house. Interesting. That's a packed seventh house. We have Luna, Uranus, Jupiter, Mercury, Sun, and Venus all in the seventh house under Venus's dispositorship. Venus is still Kazemi here. I think here, when it comes to relationships, the type of this is another surprise energy. So maybe even with what I was discussing, maybe this is a surprise, so-called, surprise solar return celebration, what people call a surprise birthday party. It's a surprise solar return celebration, or maybe it's being planned. Because here I'm actually seeing with this is a heavy stellium here, all in the seventh house, even though they're in different signs. This is a heavy seventh house stellium. And I think the people are able to come together and make sure they're expounding upon their plans for fun to be able to, create a very valuable and harmonious moment, because seventh house deals with partnering. Seventh house deals with relating. So maybe even even if it's not a celebrity, if it's not a favorite cartoon character in like mascot form, this could also be a relative coming home. All righty. The first thing I see as far as relative coming home, I'm looking at it from the terms of military, right? What is that? Okay. Just wanted to see what I was looking at there on the wall. So there is, someone maybe, maybe they've been far away for years. Maybe they've been stationed somewhere. Maybe it's Air Force, maybe it's Army, maybe it's Marine. And someone is really surprised by this. Or maybe also, this could also be because Luna and Uranus are conjunct, right? So that could be also because Luna and Venus in the seventh house, that could be strong for women because they're at the beginning and ending of the seventh house. And this sudden change that really expands, and there's something being communicated that actually is dealing also with the heart here, right? This could be a proposal. All righty. And so what's happening is that maybe it's a plan to get, family together, to come together, things of that nature. Maybe someone is planning like, all right, look, I'm gonna get both our family members to come together. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that it's a dinner, but everybody else knows it's a surprise engagement that's gonna happen. Or maybe it's gonna surprise everyone actually that's there. So that's the energy that I see there too. Let me know if you guys you come across some energy pertaining to a party or someone having um, you know, uh, either a mascot of some form there, or an artist, or maybe some kind of engagement. That'll be very interesting to see. Let me know what you guys come across with that. And with that, I'm going to yield the floor. Let me actually set this for the next day. All righty. The next time I actually come and go over this with y'all. And that's great. And then, maybe later on today, maybe not, we'll go over the fifth when Luna is finishing up its transit in Taurus, and it will make a sextile to Neptune. And it looks like it will be void of course for about 27 minutes ish. Right? It'll be void of course for about 27 minutes. It's looking like before it ingresses Gemini, adding to that stellium in Gemini, right? So it'll be Luna, Jupiter, Mercury, Sun, and Venus in Gemini. Sheesh! Quite the stellium, quite the stellium. A lot of communication, a lot of thoughts, a lot of siblings, right? Maybe a lot of talk about early childhood development plans for curriculums and things of that nature. Be very interesting to see what y'all are experiencing collectively pertaining to these energies. All righty. Yes, we're going to save that, right? I'm going to stop the screen share. And since I remembered, let's look and see what the metaphysics is on Peter real quick. And then I will yield the floor. Questions, comments, and or suggestions going once. Questions, comments, and or suggestions. Looking to my iBooks. There's a Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, right? And let me hit share here. Screen, right? Start broadcast. And I trust, boom shakalaka, there we go. Let's find Peter, right? Okay, wait for this thing to fire on up. It's like it's got to get itself together. And I think, sometimes in my iBooks, I will highlight things, right? And it's like when I highlight things like, hold on, I need to catch up. I'm like, okay, iBooks, because I know I got quite a few PDFs in here. See how I got stuff highlighted still, you know what I mean? Right? Right? Like, woe unto himself who called himself a Jew, right? Just even as if you look at that. Oh, that you're being anti-Semitic. No, I can't be, even because I remember when I revealed what Hebrew Israelite even really mean, right? Like Israelite is the spiritual consciousness. Hebrew is the wandering planet. So Hebrew Israelite is the wandering planet spiritual consciousness. So that means somebody is the one who really comprehends the astrology, cosmology, the metaphysics, and I would also like to add the jurisprudence because that all fits in. Then that's someone who is within the quote unquote Hebrew Israelite state of mind. Not necessarily, no disrespect, not necessarily someone who is, shouting Bible verses on a karaoke machine, in front of everyone. That's not exactly what it is. And I'm saying that respectfully. Like, I trust I didn't offend anyone. All right. But you blame your ears if you got offended, not me. But you see how the metaphysical for even Jew, right? It says, as a descendant of Judah, son of Jacob. So when you look up Judah, there's some tidbits there. Look up Jacob, there's some tidbits there, and you'll see further how it really is tying into the consciousness, because son or children, when you look that up in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, it's new thoughts. All righty. New thoughts that need further development, right? And as a member of the tribe or kingdom of Judah, which is Leo, right? That's Leo, right? A gang of lions, right? Ganglion, right? Is that a part of it? Ganglion? All these things, metaphysics is about, and if you really can comprehend these metaphysical books termed holy books, which are the law books, and the law books are the holy books, what you'll see that this is only dealing with the consciousness tied in with your endocrine system. That's it. That's all. Anything else is someone trying to rob you of the experience in seeing how this just only, and I mean only, pertains to ye consciousness connected with or in harmony with your endocrine system. That's it. That's all. However, you can draw other wisdom out of it when sharing with people as you give them the grip and pull them out the grave. A Jew signifies a thought. You thought I was about to make this up. I said it's tied to your consciousness, springing from and belonging to the praise and inner life consciousness of the individual, non-statutory individual. All right, because individual, we all know, statutorily speaking, is a U.S. citizen. so-called United States citizen, which we know in 15 USC 4724, U.S. citizen is a United States business or U.S. business. So we're saying a non-statutory individual. So make sure we're clear on that. However, let's get to Peter. Let's get to Peter. Okay, let's see. Where is Peter? Where am I at? Am I in the M's? I'm in the M's. Let's find Peter. I think that was the ends. The ends is. The ends is. P-E-R. I think I'm getting Clizzos. Still P-E-R. P-E-R. P-E-S. I think I'm getting closer. Hey, looky, Astro Cookie. Right? Let's see. Let me take this away. Let me make sure. Okay, Perida. There's Peter. Let's zoom it on in it right there. Peter, from the Greek, hard, compact, strong, firm, unyielding, a large stone, rock, a cliff. Simon Peter, son of Jonas, a disciple of Jesus Christ. If you actually look up Simon, look up Peter, look up Jonas, look up Jesus, look up Christ, and when you see that all of those things are happening within oneself at different times of your life, pertaining to, again, ye consciousness tied to your endocrine system, it should really relieve you of the guilt that people bring when they're Bible-toting fire and brimstone over your heads, because they may have a Masonic obligation to not reveal to you or unveil to you this which I'm sharing and I've shared freely over the years, or they just don't know. I don't like letting people off the hook. Don't say you're a surgeon and you come out with rusty butter knives. All right. Matthew 16:18, Mark 3:16. All right. Those are the references there for Simon Peter. What does Peter mean metaphysically? It's this one's kind of this one kind of lengthy. Let's see. Where does it? Woo, that's a whole nother page going in on Peter. Jesus, Bruce Lee, Christ. What else? Okay, what is the next? That's another page on Peter. I told you, it gets thick on the metaphysical, because the next word after Peter is Pethahia. So we really got one, and that's about a sixth of a page at the top, still dealing with Peter, right? If I'm not mistaken, because I don't see no other P's here, right? So that's one page, one in the sixth, two in the sixth. So let's just say about 3 pages. We got about 3 pages of Peter. All right. But if we just start with metaphysics and you guys can read the rest, you already know if you have access to Prophet Noble Drew Ali University, all righty, just go and look it up within the drive if you haven't downloaded it to any of your devices, because you guys already know whatever's in Prophet Noble Drew Ali University is easily downloadable. And you can put either, in a folder on your computer or somewhere on your Android phone, as we do with those of us with Apple devices. We send them to, you can put them in your files. I have them in the iBooks, right? In the books, right? Peter, right? For metaphysical, the spiritual faculty of faith, period. That's it. That's what Peter, so the spiritual faculty of faith, right? And when you think about it, because the root word in spirit is breath. And so that's why, it's important to, to have one's breath in order. When you talk about the Holy Spirit, it's really talking about, correct breathing. Most people are mouth breathers. They're not just inhaling in their nose, exhaling on their mouth. And most people don't breathe like that. You know who naturally breathes like that? Babies. Babies do. Honestly, they really do, especially when they're not tampered with. All right, by like you know immunizations and stuff like that, or other drugs, or epidurals given to the mother, and now the baby. When there's a full natural experience, babies are real. They'll really show you how intelligent we actually are without being tampered with by the spy centers called hospitals. Respectfully, again, no disrespect. Um, the disciple's name, Simon, which means hearing, that's why it's having hearing in the parentheses, signifying his receptivity and ability to discern truth, was changed by the I am identity, because Jesus is the I am identity, to Peter or Kephas, right? Which is the Greek for the word rock. So, what's a rock? Spiritual faculty of faith. This represents faith in the divine mind idea. Again, believe nothing I say, but that's what God is. God etymologically denotes to call upon. So that's why even in Genesis it says God spoke, and this particular thing that God spoke was or became, right? Because God denotes to call upon. God isn't some imaginary friend in the sky. God is to call upon, to invoke. God is not a noun. Etymologically, God is a verb. Believe nothing I say. Look up the etymology of God. All right. So that you can have the experience on your own. Don't get offended by me. All right. Go see it for yourself. This represents faith in to call upon, faith in the divine mind idea. So God is to call upon etymologically. However, in metaphysics, when you look up the word God, it'll refer to it being the divine mind idea. Because all these names of the anthropomorphic characters in all the places, again, are your consciousness. They're pertaining to your consciousness, tied to your endocrine system. This represents faith in God, right? And to call upon the divine mind idea. Strong, unwavering, and enduring. This faith is a necessary foundation for what? The building up of spiritual consciousness. What's spiritual consciousness also called? The Church of Christ in the individual. All of this stuff is internal. Again, believe nothing I say. Please believe nothing I say. Challenge it by trying to prove it wrong. However, remember, if you want access to Prophet Noble Drew University, I freely give it. I know it's worth well over a couple $1,000 as far as the information that I have in there, different books and things of that nature. However, I give it away for free. All righty. And technically, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Prophet Noble Drew University, if you click on my link tree in Instagram, right? 7HealStar's Instagram, I want to say Prophet Noble Drew is linked there. Prophet Noble Drew University is linked there. And when I get the email, or I go and check my email, even if I missed it, and somebody wants access to Prophet Noble Drew University, cool. Let me make them a viewer. Boom, now you have access for a lifetime. All right. So that's how that goes. So maybe you can read the rest of this on your own. Don't allow yourself not to. All righty. Check out these 3 pages of Peter, right? And it looks like it's starting on page 744 out of 1,045 pages. So it's on 744, 745, 746, and it finishes at the top of 747, as we can see, where it ends at I am that I am. There is none besides me, which is it's quoting, right? However, do not rob yourself, right? And don't let somebody go if you're like, hey, I saw this brother on YouTube and he was saying everything in the Bible actually is just metaphysical and tied. And don't let nobody go, oh, he's got the devil and demons with him. I mean, if that's your thing and you want them to, could try to control your growth, then go right ahead. You're just helping them fulfill their Masonic obligation. So go right ahead. I'm here with my tassel unpinned, right? Hold on. Oh, 720 degrees. Okay, so yeah, I can speak freely. And then they probably can't, because they might got a jeweled fez with the tassel pinned down at 33 degrees and a death oath to not feed the animals. And that's how these people look at you, right? Unless you come into the lodge and join up, right? However, I have no problem giving these degrees freely, provided you comprehended it's an open secret. It's open if you're open to it. It's a secret if you're not open to it. That's it. That's how it goes. Some people have spent thousands of dollars just to get a pinky nails clipping of the things that I can recall off the top of my head. And just give reference to. So, questions, comments, and or suggestions going to it Twiz eyes. All righty. Let's come out of here, guys. I'd like to thank you all for joining me. Remember, schedule your Mirror AstroLiteracy session with Brother Hasan Gazio. I look forward to having your Mirror AstroLiteracy session with The promo code REFLECT takes 39% off of that. And if you just want the Celestial Promise session, I take off 33.334% off that. All righty. And, make sure I'm looking out for you guys. And just, you want full disclosure? How at me. And I'll make sure you have full disclosure to what it is. All righty. I guarantee you won't be disappointed because this is a thing that you get started. And, as I got, further into my studies, I eventually evolved to making sure that you guys keep getting your follow-ups. I always suggest that people would, follow up either every 3 months or every 6 months, right? Some people, as part of TUPAC, we get to talk every Saturday. So I kind of get updates because they are on a path of things that I've suggested. And so they're always, focused on the astrology. I'm telling you, even though, people on TUPAC aren't calling themselves astrologers, I guarantee that if something astrological needed to be done, they could handle it because of how thorough we are in making sure that, the vocabulary that is paramount, when learning this and how we do it, we make sure that is really confidently comprehended. All right. So, questions, comments, and or suggestions going through his eyes. When y'all, rise again, depending on where you are, when you rise and you're going to break your fast. Whenever you break your fast, eat well. Make sure you enjoy it. Make sure it's healthy. And for those that are going to rest and recharge, like I'm about to, rest and recharge well. This is where I say to y'all again, thank you all for joining me. Thank you all that are joining later. And this is where I say I love you all. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, 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 y'all. Peace and love.